Always. What's so funny?
I keep seeing you holding that branch like a sword. You got guts, I'll give you that, but I'm surprised it hasn't gotten you into trouble before now.
Who says it hasn't?
I'm sure.
So, how'd you get into cooking?
I used to work at Copper Creek as a busboy before it closed. Me and Mr. Moriarty became good friends. I miss the hell out of that old coot.
Why didn't you keep in touch?
The man hates me. I'm turning in.
Cam, why won't you talk to me? We're supposed to be friends, remember? Friends typically talk.
I don't need any friends.
Well, I do.
A pretty rich girl like you needs friends? I find that hard to believe.
Why are you suddenly shutting me out? Tell me what happened between Mr. Moretti and you. Please?
He found out I popped his daughter's cherry and fired me. One of the worst days of my life. He was like a father to me.
I'm so sorry.
I told him that I loved Karina, but that only seemed to make the old coot madder.
What about Karina? Do you still keep in touch with her?
About a month later, I saw Karina at the movies with another guy. He was squeezing her ass and making out with her while they were waiting in line. You know, one of those sickening couples you want to scream at to get a room. Anyway, the restaurant closed soon after that. Her family moved away.
Was she your first too?
Yep.
You hate talking about this, don't you?
Yep.
Change of subject. So, you and Jags are close?
I'm close with both my brothers.
You have two brothers?
AJ's in the army, stationed in Iraq.
Tell me a crazy story.
Like what?
I don't know. Anything. Tell me anything.
All right. One story, and then I'm calling it a night.
Okay, deal.
Well, okay. There was the time we all went out drinking, and then drove home and passed a cop. I'd only had a couple of beers, but I panicked. When we turned the corner, I jerked the wheel, and we crashed into the woods. Things were going pretty good until we started down a steep hill. Dumbass that I am, the first thing I did was hit the brakes.
Why is that a bad thing?
Well, the front of the truck stopped, but the back kept going. We flipped 3, 4 times. AJ and I were fine, but Jags, well, he was beat up bad. We limped him home all 4 miles. I'd never been so tired. After the second mile or so, that light-ass son of a bitch got heavy.
What do you do besides cook and hike?
Nope. I'm done. Now it's your turn.
I've never had a guy for a friend. I'm just not sure what kind of stuff I'm supposed to talk about.
Why don't you tell me about your first love? I told you about mine.
Can't say I've ever been in love.
Are you telling me you've never had your heart broken?
I always break the hearts, not the other way around.
Wow. I figured everyone had their heart broken at least once. Isn't that a requirement to being human? What about the guy who took your virginity? You must have felt something for him.
I'm gonna turn in.
But we were getting along so well. Don't shut me out now.
If I told you the story, you'd have to promise not to tell anyone. Ever.
I'm not sure why I'd tell anyone.
No, you need to promise.
Scout's honor.
Were you ever a Boy Scout?
Does that make a difference?
I guess not. Okay, here goes. I was a football cheerleader in high school.
No shit. Really?
Wise ass.
Sorry. Continue.
They were playing against the Hornets, our rival team from Trenton. It was the game that got us into the playoffs, and we won in overtime. People were screaming and jumping. It was just craziness.
What's going on? Hello!
I was walking through the parking lot to use the restroom in the school.
Hey, y'all, you'll see the redhead coming out right over there.
When I saw some players from the other team hanging out by a truck.
Hey, you!
Ooh, she's coming this way.
Hey, you!
I started shouting,
So, what are we doing, guys? You should totally do her tonight.
calling them losers and stuff like that.
You can't mean what I think you mean, right?
What was that? What was that you were saying?
They made like they couldn't hear me, so
I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Hey, come here.
I moved closer.
Maggie.
Sweetheart,
I'm out.
Yeah,
can't hear you.
Just think about I'm out.
Yeah, that's it, over here.
Right?
you seem to have figured out the rest of the story. Two of them, they grabbed me and threw me in the bed of the truck. The next thing I knew, the truck was peeling from the parking lot. I screamed, and one of them punched me. I think I was knocked unconscious because when I woke up, I was in the middle of the woods. Shit. I don't know why I just told you all that. Fuck. What's wrong with you?
Migraine. Did you ever find them?
Find who?
The football players that raped you.
I never pressed charges.
Why the hell not?
I didn't want the whole town knowing what a dumb shit I was.
It wasn't your fault.
Plus, we moved to Cut and Shoot so my dad could run for mayor. If the press got word of the total fuck-up he had for a daughter, he never would have won the election. Not to mention, he was a well-known attorney in Houston. I just couldn't embarrass him like that.
A cheerleader gets raped in a small town and no charges are filed?
I refused to testify or reveal anything about my attackers. Not their names, or what they looked like, or even that they were from Trenton and not local boys.
Did we go to high school together? How old are you?
25.
I didn't, but AJ did. He'll be home on leave soon. When he tells me who they are, I'm going to...
No!
You should have pressed charges.
Keep your condescending higher-than-thou attitude to yourself.
You should have pressed charges.
You know nothing!
What's there to know? Rape is rape. It's pretty cut and dry. No gray.
It was a long time ago. I'm fine.
How many raped you?
Stop saying that word.
How many?
There are 4 of them.
They still in town? You ever run into them?
2 of them I see all the time.
Shit. Fuck. You were a virgin?
Maggie shot to her feet. What the fuck are you doing?
Huh?
You really want to know the details? All the juicy, sick details? Do you?
Yep.
You want me to cry like a girl and tell you how awful it was? Where they put their filthy hands and their... And how many times? Want me to tell you how I screamed? Sorry to disappoint, but I was unconscious for a good part of it.
You think I enjoy hearing this shit? No. But those guys deserve to pay.
When I came to, they were sticking objects in me. I think the first was a flashlight, but I can't say for sure because my eyes were swollen shut. But the second felt like a stick, and it hurt bad. Is this doing it for you? You want me to tell you how I peed myself and how they smeared my own filth all over my body? If you're waiting for hysterics and, oh, please save me, knight in shining armor, it's not gonna fucking happen.
Maggie.
Fuck you! The badass image you try to pull off is so not working for you right now. Come on. Come at me.
That's why? You wanted me to take you hiking? You wanted me to end it for you?
When you told me that you would flatten me, I wanted to shoot you in the head. If I had my gun.
And now?
Do it. That's what I thought. Pussy.
If you don't want a knight in shining armor, then why did you tell me?
You were interrogating me.
For the tough girl you try to pull off, you caved pretty quick.
You bastard! Let's be clear about one thing. All I want from you is your cock, nothing more. I just wanted to get laid, and that's all you are to me. A potential good fuck, and that's all you'll ever be to me.
Why? Why do you talk like that?
Because I'm a slut, in case you haven't figured that out on your own. God, you're such a fucking dumbass.
Just because they treated you like a slut doesn't make you one. You were a virgin. I don't know what your definition of slut is, but as I understand it, virgins are not usually classified as sluts. You're so much better than that.
She wrapped her arms around his back and gave herself to him, a man who threatened to squash her like a bug. Ever since that day almost a decade ago, Maggie had distanced herself from everyone. She'd not met one guy who sparked anything in her except hormones. Until now. She wanted Cam to hold and protect her, and the thought of needing a man so completely made her nauseous. One good thing came from the attack. She had learned to trust and depend on only herself. She would never be caught off guard again. Or so she thought. Unfortunately, Cameron Wolfe had single-handedly broken apart her defenses, and now relentlessly clawed at her heart and soul, the way no other man ever had. She shrugged from his embrace and ran for her tent.
He paced beside the fire, his hands balled in fists, his face flushed. Fuck! Cam raked his hands through his hair. He stopped pacing and drew a deep breath. Calm down. 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 Calm Calm down. Calm down. For as long as he could remember, he envisioned this beast as a snarling, horned monster with steaming saliva oozing from its maw, rattling the bars of a cage that was shrinking, closing in. He never asked Jags, afraid of the answer, but his brother probably would have told him that the monster was his psyche's visual manifestation of the chaotic emotions all balled up inside his soul.
Fuck.
Or some deep, profound shit like that. All Cam really knew was that he had to keep the monster tightly chained and imprisoned. Most importantly, the beast was never to be fed. Nothing short of beating the fuck out of those 4 football players could satiate the beast. Evil existed. If anybody knew that, Cam did. He didn't have to be raised Catholic to believe in devils and demons. He'd been conceived by one. And it took evil to destroy evil. Like fire to fight fire. Maybe he'd taken it upon himself to be a solitary crusader against evil men. Or maybe he just needed a reason to justify letting the monster loose. In the beginning, even before he had taken Tony his last beer, Cam had contemplated what could cause a person to unload so much sadistic hatred onto another person. He stormed the tent with no idea what he'd say or do.
Go away.
They raped you.
Stop saying that word.
They raped you.
Stop saying that word.
Rape?
Just stop.
Rape. Rape.
God.
Rape.
I hate you.
He fought an excruciating urge to shake her.
Get out!
Cam grasped her chin between his thumb and forefinger.
Cam, just get out! Are you happy now?
Happy isn't the word that comes to mind. He crushed her body against his body, knocking the air from her lungs. Maggie gasped for a breath and pounded on his back.
I hate you.
He held her firm.
I hate you.
Oh, baby. You don't even know what hate is.
I hate you. I made it all these years.
Cam looked down at her.
Not one tear.
An arm wrapped around her waist, a hand cradling the nape of her neck.
I never cried. One night with you and you turned me into
A girl?
a girl. I begged them to stop. So much blood.
Her distant stare
God.
gazed right through him.
But not a single tear. Not until now. Fuck.
Cam lay flat, keeping her quivering body trapped in the crook of his body. With her head on his chest, he trailed fingers down the side of her head, through her long silky hair.
Please, will you let me go? I just want to go to bed.
Maggie curled a fist into his shirt.
Cam, please.
She burst into hysterics. Sharp pings of pain shot through his skull, giving him, yet again, the mother of all migraines. His eyes stung. He closed his lids, desperate for the moisture to return. If that wasn't enough to keep him awake, the fire coursing through his veins would undoubtedly do the job.
I just don't want to think about it anymore. I don't want to remember any of this.
Visions danced through his head. A gun would be too quick. And not as much fun. Yep. Given the chance, he'd beat the fuckers to death. They'd see the monster he'd managed to keep locked inside. Cam opened his eyes, smiled, and waited for dawn.